You're caregiving your loved one, and it's late in the day, so you take just a few minutes to sit and rest. But then you think of how much more you need to do, and you feel guilty for taking even those few minutes. Maybe you start thinking, what's wrong with me? Why do I feel guilty for sitting down when I'm trying so hard to do everything right? You're not a bad daughter, and you're not imagining it. That guilt is real. But it's not the whole story, because that guilt may be telling you something very different from what you think it is. I'm Val. I'm a retired psychology professional, and I started Second Half Sage to help women navigate the changes that come with the second half of life. I also cared for my parents at the end of their lives, so I know that guilt too. Somewhere in here, you made a deal with yourself, and you probably didn't notice you were making it. The deal is later. Everything that is for you goes in the later pile. Maybe it's the appointment you keep meaning to make. Maybe it's a birthday you missed, or the friend who stopped calling because you stopped calling back. You tell yourself you'll get to all of it someday, when there's time. And that time doesn't come. So after a while, you start to feel resentful, and then you feel guilty about the resentment too, because none of this is your loved one's fault. It's a vicious cycle. If any of this sounds like your life, subscribe and stay with me. I was awakened from a deep, exhausted sleep one night when I heard plumbing pipes rattling. In my half-asleep state, I thought, I'll have to tell Dad we need to get someone to look at the plumbing. The rattles got louder. I woke all the way up and went to see what was going on. There was my dad on the floor of the bathroom, banging on the pipe and in bad shape. As I sat with him in the ER bay, I thought, why didn't I wake up all the way and help him right away? I didn't do it on purpose, but I was flooded with guilt for leaving him there, even though it was just a couple of minutes. Several hours later, we finally got home. I knew, given his situation, we'd be back in the ER the next night. I wouldn't be able to get much sleep, and I resented that. And then felt guilty that I resented it, or even needed it. I realized the guilt always appeared, regardless of what I did or didn't do. So it couldn't be telling me the truth about whether I'd done something wrong. That guilt isn't a report card on how you're doing. It's what love does when it can't fix the thing. When something is truly out of your hands, your mind won't sit still with that. It goes looking for the version where you had control. If only you hadn't done this, if only you'd done that, then it would have all been all right, or at least better. Guilt is what that search feels like from the inside. It's your mind turning helplessness into something that at least has a culprit, because being at fault hurts less than being powerless. And the resentment is the same search coming at you from the other side. It's your needs, still there, still real, trying to get your attention the only way they have left. So when the guilt shows up, what it's actually telling you is that this situation is bigger than one person. It was never telling you what kind of daughter you are. So choose one small thing you've told yourself no about. I think of these as stolen moments. and it needs to be something you can do on the fly when your loved one doesn't have an immediate pressing need. Maybe time playing on your phone or texting with a friend, knitting, reading, watching a favorite show, or even a nap. Do it at least once this week, more if you can. This part is important. When the guilt shows up, and it will, give it grace and kindness like you would a friend. Invite it to sit with you and have a cup of tea. Continue with the activity for the time you have available, unless something urgent requires your attention. Then notice what happened and remember it. Probably there was nothing bad. Maybe someone complained because this is new, but your loved one was okay. The guilt will probably still be there next time, sipping tea next to you. What's different is that now you know you can do something for yourself and the world doesn't come apart, and you can do it again. Let me know in the comments what your stolen moment is going to be. I'd love to know. I want to tell you something because I don't think many people talk about this. The guilt doesn't disappear entirely. I still feel it sometimes, years later, about my parents. What changes is your relationship with it. Who's in charge? Now the guilt can sit next to you and have its opinion while you take care of what you need to take care of for your loved one and for yourself. And look at what you're already doing. You've been making every decision for another person's comfort and safety every single day on not enough sleep, with guilt running the whole time. You've already done the hard part, and you're doing it again tomorrow. I have more to share with you about the second half of life in this video on your screen. Come find me there. To the sage in you.